everybody, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 1 of Spiritual Helpers. This is our season opening, and the reason we're doing Spiritual Helpers 2 is because in the very first season of Coming Up with Liz and Eddie, you had overwhelmingly written in and asked us to do another show about how you could actually communicate with your spiritual helpers. I'm Eddie Connor.
And I'm Liz Layug.
And the common thread you're going to find in our show today is the power of having to ask for what you desire from your spirit guides and your angels, aka your spiritual helpers. So Liz and I want to talk about some of our own personal spiritual helper experiences. And then we also want to help you tune into your own spirit guides and angels.
And then we're going to share with you how you can contact your own spiritual helpers. Energetically, meditation-wise, and we'll see as the show goes on.
I know, it's going to be fun. So we're going to go over some of what your spiritual helpers are and who they may be.
Angels, dead people, soul group.
You also have spiritual guides, and you have a group that I love working with when I do readings, and that's a pre-birth planning group. You have a council of elders, and I love working with master teachers too. We're going to go into a little bit more detail about who these beings are as we move through the show.
Yeah. Light beings, our soul, ourselves, inner light, and our higher selves. And we're also going to talk more about our soul and how we can mentor ourselves, our future, and our past selves help us.
I know. I love that you said our future self and past self, because we were talking before the show started that there's no time anywhere else in the universe except for planet Earth. And it's a construct. That's how I think you articulated it before we started, because she uses fancy words, y'all. It is a construct that we use here on the earth plane. And even though our physical bodies are less than 1% of who and what we are, our soul, our spiritual self is also the universe at large, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're all spiritual beings. We did talk about this the first season. And we're all energy, we're all spiritual beings, and we experience a physicality here on earth. But our true selves are all spiritual.
So some of the personal experiences Liz and I want to talk about is the whole reason I started the path that I'm on today and have been on for 30, 35 years now is because of my best friend. So Tim and I met in 1993, and we were inseparable from the time we met. Child, they would call us Timetti.
Did they really?
Mm-hmm. Because if they would see just me and not Tim, they're like, hey, Tim and Eddie.
Didn't they say Timetti and Tomato?
No, they didn't. They didn't. I didn't have original friends. And so we met at the Gap, of all places, during the holiday season rush.
Yeah.
And as soon as we saw each other, we were instantly best friends, and we've been inseparable ever since. So he was diagnosed with AIDS around 1989. And Tim was raised in a super, super religious family, like my grandma raised me, Southern Baptist, Bible thumping, I hate homosexuals, and you're going to burn in hell, Eddie Connor.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you, Grandma. Can I have another? And so he was in the church every single time the doors open.
Yeah.
So he was more programmed than me, because as soon as I was 16, I ran away, and I didn't go back to Grandma's house. Okay. So I met Tim in 1989. We're fast friends. We're inseparable. We tell each other everything. And now in 1989, he finds out that he has AIDS. And he is terrified he's going to burn in hell.
Sure.
Okay. Hey. And so I studied, I took classes, I read books, I did everything in my power to give him new information that was the opposite of the way we were indoctrinated into that aspect of religious beliefs. And so I kept bridging his reality, or I was trying to, and I didn't know if I was successful or not.
Yeah.
Now, my grandma was a demon, honey. I love her now, but I did not love my grandma then.
I know.
She was mean. She's like, go out and break me 3 switches because I'm going to cut the blood out of you bitches. And I was like, yes, ma'am. And so you break the switches, you get the shit beat out of you. She backhands you. She was the backhand champion of the greater North Carolina region. And so Tim, just as he found out he had AIDS, he said, listen, you need to make peace with your grandmother. And I'm like, well, why would I do that? She mean. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
And she also found out I was gay by my uncle. And then she told everybody in the family I was gay. And she had 13 children, honey.
Wow.
So she was spreading the word of Jesus as fast as she could, okay? So he talked me into going to see her. And I said, I won't go see her unless you go with me. So Tim said, I'll go with you. I called Grandma in advance. I said, I'm going to come up and see you on Saturday. And I had in detail described her condemned house, no running water in the house, barely electricity, the outhouse, the pig pen, the slop buckets, the well where you draw water, and the acre of garden where she used to turn me loose with the praying mantis, okay? And we get there and we pull into the driveway. He can't believe it. We go into the house and there's the wood stove she would put us behind. And there's the wood stove where she did the exorcism on me in the 4th grade. And there's the 37,467 pictures of Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior, soot covered from the wood stove, hanging on the wall, on the cross, looking like, why did they take pictures of me? That's right. And so Grandma wouldn't say anything. She's just sitting there in her rocking chair with her cat eye glasses and her butterbean hat in her lap. And I said, Grandma, can I take Tim outside to show him the yard? And she said, So I took Tim outside. He's flipping out. He can't believe it. So show him everything outside. We come back inside. I hugged her and I kissed her bye like I had to do every single time she babysat us. Left the house and he said, did you see the books beside of her rocking chair? I said, no, it was a stack of Bibles. He said, no, there was a stack of Bibles, but there was a stack of self-help books. And I said, really? He said, metaphysical self-help books. And I said, all I saw was the sweet tea, the Bibles, and a pinto bean sandwich. Okay?
Okay, so you're used to seeing certain things, certain marks.
And I didn't see the self-help. And I'm also trying to connect with her. She's not having anything to do with it.
Yeah.
So Tim and I go home. Literally within a month, he's now in the hospital. He's dying of AIDS. Fast forward to he was processing and transitioning for 3.5 years. The last month of his life, I walked in the hospital with pictures of his family, a picture of Oprah because he loved him some Oprah. He probably knows better now, though. And I opened the hospital door and he's sitting there white as a sheet. His mouth is hanging open. He looked like he had seen a ghost. And I was like, oh my God, you want me to call the nurse? Are you okay? What do you need? And he just held his hand up like, don't talk to me. I need to get my act together. And he said, I don't want to tell you this. I don't want to tell you. I said, well, what happened? He said, you're going to like it too much. I don't want you to be that happy. I said, Tammy, what happened? He said a nurse or a volunteer came into the hospital. This is at Duke University Medical Center.
Yeah.
And a volunteer would always come in. So this lady comes in. She had sort of a homemade dress. She started straightening his bed. She fluffed his pillows. And he's like, I think I recognize you. Now, he's been in and out of the hospital for 3.5 years at Duke every month. And she's humming spiritual hymns. And now she's fixing the flowers. She's like, I think we've met. My name's Tim. What's your name? And she just smiled and looked at him. Then she went over to the sink and she was doing stuff over there. Then she walked back over to the bed and she's carrying a butterbean hat. And his mouth drops open and she smiles at him and reaches for him. And the door opens and a nurse walks in and he looked back at her. She was gone.
Wow.
In thin air. Fast forward to now he's moved in with his mom and dad. He moved out from my house. And I was babysitting my dance teacher's son one night. And I called Tim every single night because, it's just a matter of days now.
Sure.
And I called and his mom says, you know, Eddie, he's acting really weird today. He just keeps talking to the air. That's
that's
air,
a sign.
A-I-R, and the South air is a 5-syllable word. And plus, I love me some Mama Man, Tim Man, Mama Man. And I said, well, what do you think's going on, Mama Man? And she's like, I don't know. I really don't know, but I'm a little worried. So if he acts weird, don't let it freak you out.
Yeah.
I said, yes, ma'am. So Tim comes to the call.
Sure.
I'm on the phone with Tim, and he's like, Queen, where you is? I'm like, I'm babysitting Miss Forrester's son, Corbin. And he's like, well, Ken and I have been waiting here all day for you to take us to Hardee's for biscuits and gravy. And I'm like, Ken, Kenesha Ken? And he said, yes. And I went, well, tell him I said, hey. He says, hey, girl, hey. I didn't hear anything back. And he's talking about all the stuff him and Ken had done that day at his parents' house. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, hold on a second. Let me give him the phone so you can say hey to him. I said, no, tell him I love him. Give him a hug and kiss for me, and I'll call you boys tomorrow. I hung the phone up. Ken died 6 days before that conversation. We did not tell Tim that Ken died.
Yeah, well,
because he was already in such severe dementia.
Were you guys very close friends?
Oh, we were all tight as a tick.
Okay, so that's why. So, you meet those people.
Yes, and we didn't tell Tim, but Ken, in Tim's eyes, was more promiscuous than Tim was. So Tim's raised very strict religious background. He makes me go visit my grandmother, who's super strict religious background. My grandma comes to visit with Tim, her apparition in the hospital at Duke University Medical Center, bridging his belief that if I'm coming to see you, you're going to get in heaven. Don't worry about it. And then 6 days before Tim dies, Ken, who was more promiscuous in the gay community than Tim was, helped bridge Tim's belief that if I get in heaven, girl, you're going to get in heaven. Don't worry about it. And then Tim passed away. And fast forward to a month after Tim died, I'm talking to a guy named Tim on the phone in Kentucky from North Carolina. And he was a challenging person. Yeah. He said, and all of his dead relatives came through to talk to him. But he said, well, I don't believe you're really a medium because the one person I wanted to talk to didn't come through. And gave specific information. Out of nowhere, I was like, well, listen, you have a great night. This is late. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning now. I'm going to bed. You go to bed. We'll talk later. And we were sitting there. He's like, all right, but I really do wish I had seen. Then the phone starts crackling. And then it gets super staticky. And I hold it away from my ear. And then I heard, Tim. I bolted up off the bed. I was holding the phone out like this, like Carrie in the Stephen King novel. And he said, did you hear that? And I was like, yes. Did you hear it? And he's like, yes. I said, who did you want to talk to? He said, my lover, Tim, passed away not a year ago. And so his lover, Tim, his name was Tim. My best friend's name was Tim. And I was laying on the bed in Tim's room. Wow. And so all of those signs, our spiritual helpers find ways. My grandma was a Southern Baptist, Bible thumping, I hate everybody but baby Jesus person. But after she transitioned, she went back to her soul self, her pre-birth planning group. She went back into expanded consciousness.
Well, yeah, because when you're on the earth plane, you're only experiencing this much of your soul.
An inch,
depending on, a very small percentage you're experiencing in this lifetime. But you can have access to more of your soul depending on the person who you are, what you want.
Exactly. And so we come here to do whatever we do. We don't have to stick to the script if we don't want to once we become human. But once we release from these physical little microscopic bodies and go back into non-physical, we go back into expanded awareness or heaven, which is just another word for expanded consciousness. And Grandma helped bridge Tim's reality. I was on the earth plane trying to bridge Tim's reality. Then Ken, a.k.a. Kenesha, came in, was helping him bridges reality. And then a friend of ours in another state, while I'm on the phone, Tim breaks in to say, Tim, now shut up, bitch, and hang up.
So this was another friend of yours.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that crazy?
No, I think it's appropriate. I mean, that it makes sense
And
that it would be all connected because you're all connected. We are all connected. And so therefore, these are the signs. I think it was mainly for you, not for anyone else.
I think so, too, to be honest.
So that it proved to you that this is reality.
And plus, part of what Tim made me promise before he passed away is because I didn't share this with nobody on earth, just Tim. And he said, you need to help people like you're helping me, because there's a lot of people that are born into things they have no control over. And those programs run them their whole life until they become aware of it. So you need to, he's like, Miss Thing, you need to put your biscuits and gravy down and you need to go be helping some people. Okay. And I was like, all right. But it was natural to me. Doing what we're doing right now was so organic with Tim and I. And I love all things non-physical. I love every bit of the spiritual helper realm.
Yeah.
What were some of your experiences?
Well, after that, and I have to tell you, that was Tim.
Yeah.
It was Tim. Because he was pressing on me and I'm going like, oh, wow. Yeah. He wanted me to, I was going to break in and I said, you just got to wait.
Oh, you can break in, child. Don't tell your sister though.
I know. But yeah, I want to talk about the practical experiences like day to day or things that you want. So in my journey, just as with yours, maybe it wasn't in regards to a death experience. Oh yeah, I had a few of those. But as I was going through my learning how to channel and becoming a medium, I remember going to class one evening and it was quite late. And my husband at the time was not very happy with me being out late in the evening, And when I come home from class, he would be very, very upset with me. And then we would have this argument, whatever. And so, but I persisted and I still did it. So I got lost somewhere in Pacific Palisades.
Oh.
And you know how they have those little creeks, and it was a rainy night. It was very rainy. It was already past midnight and I have to work the next day and I'm trying to find my way home. So as I was sitting at a stop sign, I said, I just prayed and I said, God, please help me to find my way home. And literally a few seconds later, all of a sudden I see someone and he comes over to my car in the middle of the night. He's wearing black sunglasses, dark sunglasses. He's wearing a jogging suit, a hat. And he goes, are you okay? Because, he knocks on my window. He goes, are you okay? And I go, I'm lost. I don't know how to get out of here. Can you tell me how to get out of here and go back to the road, the main road? And so he said, okay, this is what you do, blah, 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 blah. And we went, I got home and afterwards I reflected on it and I go, what is a person doing in the middle of the night with dark glasses on and a jogging suit? And there was no one there. I was alone in that whole area.
They just manifested.
And these, to me, that was an angel.
Yes.
An angel helper or someone to help me out of my difficulty because he could.
There are
he would.
More and more things, exactly what you described, the practicality of daily life that's caught on camera. And there's a show called Paranormal Caught on Camera.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's this one scene where this guy, he's working late at night. He's closing his store. He's doing this. He's doing that. And you see the camera of the street. And then out of nowhere, you see this sort of old man appear.
Oh, yeah.
And he walks right past. And all he does is tap the shoulder of the physical guy. And then he keeps walking and he turns around like, what was that? And then you see the back of the metal door of a tractor trailer swing around and he was able to do like that bend all the way back. If he hadn't, it would have hit him in the head and killed him.
Yeah, it was like, it's like other things that have happened. It's like I was driving with my sisters. I have two sisters in a car with our children when they were quite young. and we were pulled up to this yellow and red light. You know how the light turns yellow and then red, whatever. So I was driving, and then all of a sudden I was gonna, in that moment, it was seconds, I was gonna go through the yellow light to just keep going because it was still quite yellow. And my sister just shouted from the back seat, "Stop!" And I stopped. And a huge 40-foot truck.
Tractor trailer.
Oh my God. It was going faster than a devil, just going, whoo! We would have been killed, all of us. All three of us, all the children, everybody. And so, yeah.
Things like that will happen sometimes, whether your sister saw it or not.
Well, she didn't really see it. She was compelled.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, she was compelled to say it.
It just comes out of, it burst out of us.
Right? And you just know things. You just know things. And so these are just examples of the practical things that could happen, and to keep you safe, to lead you to your next place, and to, again, to make sure that you're in a place of safety.
I love that.
Which is quite often.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to jump script just a little bit. Yeah. So there are angels, dead people, there's a soul group. There's lots more than what we're telling you, but this is some of the primary. Spiritual guides, a pre-birth planning group, council of elders, there are master teachers. Some show we'll talk about baby Jesus, okay?
And there's also, when we talk about, Eddie talks about dead people, I know it's only semantics, but I always think about people in your previous lifetime and in your future lifetime. They also help and mentor you, because these are agreements that you made in between lives, and they help you. So that's part of your spiritual helpers.
Yes. There's also light beings. There's your soul in and of itself, your higher self, and your inner light. And we want to wrap the show up. We want to share with you how I and Liz personally attune to spiritual helpers and angels and guides. Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
Ladies first.
Or whatever. When did that stop?
She's so aggressive.
Well, I think the way that you can communicate is just be at peace with yourself. Go to a place that you feel comfortable. It doesn't have, it could be your special, what you call your special place, but it could be anywhere. You could be anywhere in the world. You can be, driving in a car. You could be, you don't want to shut your eyes in a car, but you can be on an airplane.
Even though a lot of people in this town do.
Exactly. And you could also be at home, sitting in the sun, and just feeling yourself be happy. And in that way, just think of that person, or or you can just ask, can you please help me with this? Can you give me some guidance? Very common things are, please give me guidance today. What can I do? You have a meeting coming up, or you have, a difficult situation coming up.
Yeah.
And you ask, help me.
Well, Liz prayed.
I pray quite often. Okay, Edward.
But she was telling me before we started the show about how she had prayed for the shows today for season 3 to go smoothly. And she was telling me all the things she was asking for. And I was like, did you ask for Ebony and Malcolm, Vanessa, Apollo, and me too? She went, of course I did, bitch. And so, but that's a form of praying, is a form of asking. And some people don't know this, but every thought you think is actually a prayer.
If you make it so. I think.
Give me an example.
Well, it's so funny. My teacher from Brazil, Fatima, I would say, well, your life is a meditation and a prayer. And she said, yes, you're right. But only if you make it so.
Okay, good. I love this.
It's the intention.
Boom.
It's the intention. It's the focus. And it's correct. You can say all of this. We could say all of this. But without any focus or an intention towards what you're doing and what you want, it's nothing.
Meaning, and I'm going to use my friend Liz's terms, it's all semantics. I'm going to call that Lizmantics.
Lizmantics.
Yeah. you have to ask.
Yeah.
Prayer's a form of asking.
It is.
And you have to be open to receive what you're asking for.
Oh, that's really important.
And I think that's what Fatima is saying, right? Ultimately, you have to make it so. So how do I make the asking of my spiritual helpers so is I have to be in the receiving mode of that intention.
Well, if you have no intention, if you don't have a focus or a goal towards what you want somehow, some way, how are you going to hit the target?
The intention, like you said,
focus,
desire, focused intention with pure desire, which means the universe doesn't hear your words anyway. It just hears it like wah, 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 wah.
It's energy.
It's an energy. So every word you speak has a certain frequency that's going to be a receivability frequency or a blocked frequency. It's either or. See, Liz and I are going to get in a fight right now because I can feel her solar plexus megaphone reaching around here wanting to slap a homosexual coming out with Liz and Eddie.
It's okay. I mean, ultimately we're getting into the same place.
We are.
We talk about it in different ways, and we have different ways of saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But we ultimately reach the same goal, which is,
I'm right. Which is the same goal as Liz is right too. Meaning it doesn't matter how you get from point A to point B. What matters is that you're open to receive what you intended and asked for it and prayed for. Yeah. And then you relax into the receiving mode meditation, which you beautifully said. You relax the conscious thinking mind so that you're now a receiving vessel of that which you are asking for. And honestly, in the very, very beginning, I would say be general with what you're asking for. Like you were. I want the shows to be smooth. I want them to be fun. I want them to be light. I want it to feel cohesive with everybody involved. I want to feel tuned in, tapped in, turned on to the spiritual realm that connects worlds. I want to feel cute. I want to be wearing my white sequin flashy blouse. And Eddie's going to wear his black Eton dress blouse. But
also, if I can say, you're absolutely right. Everything that you said is right. And I totally agree with you. But I think that without you opening yourself up to how it may come to you, don't be so
rigid.
Yeah, that's the perfect word, rigid, in regards to how it's going to come to you. The universe is like, to me, I know I said this before, the universe is like an old man who has Alzheimer's, and he's waiting for you to tell him. He has all the ability to give you what you want. But you just have to be the one who opens up to how it may come to you. It may come to you in ways you could not even imagine, but it will.
Yeah. Every time.
Yeah, every single time.
If you're in the receiving mode.
Yeah.
If you're a match to it. And guess what? Here's the good news. If you're not in the receiving mode, then Ebony's going to get what you sent out. Okay? Because she in the receiving mode. It might be somebody else receiving it.
Well, you have to want, so you're right. If you are blocking it from yourself, a lot of times we're our own worst enemies, don't you think?
What'd you call me?
We are our own
We
worst
really
enemies.
are. We contradict ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Jesus, please help me. But I don't want you to bring me another jerk.
Yeah.
So Jesus says, I love you. Here's a jerk.
Yeah. So the universe is going to say, whatever you focus on, you're going to get. There you go.
Boom. And so that focus is all based on the feeling you feel inside yourself, whether you're cognizant of it or not.
You're always feeling something.
Boom.
At any time, all the time, you're feeling something.
And
you're always thinking something.
Yeah. And that thought, feeling, or frequency is either high or it's low. It's pure or it's polluted. It's light or it's dark.
Or it's open or it's closed.
Yeah.
And that's really it. It's just like, and you might want to try this, Audrey. I think that you should sometimes you just might want to just sit with yourself and find out, who are you? And in part of that, in finding out that energy and vibration of who and what you are, you may be able, and I think you will be able to, bring to yourself what it is you want.
I love that. So I need to close my eyes and say who I is and see what happens.
That's right.
Okay. If I'm open, what do you think my guides are going to say, Liz?
They're going to say, we love you, Eddie.
Oh, I love it. So we're going to do a quick recap. The golden thread in today's show is you really have to ask, and you ask your spiritual helpers through feelings, frequencies, and vibrations.
That's right.
And the more pure those feelings and frequencies and vibrations are, the more a match you are to receiving guidance, help, assistance,
Yes.
directions,
Yes.
and even helping people transition over to non-physical. So we're always guided by the non-physical realm, whether we're aware of it or not. But one of the funnest ways to play around with the energy is to ask and receive.
That's right.
I love that.
I love that.
Hey, listen, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Eddie
Thank you.
Connor.
And I'm Liz Layug.
And our next show is going to be why affirmations do and don't work.
Oh, that's a good one.
Isn't that going to be a fun
Yeah,
one?
that's a good
Child,
one. I like
please.
that.
I'm going
I
to
like
show
that.
up for that one.
Okay.
Okay. So thanks for watching, everybody. And remember, till we meet again, to keep your thoughts, your feelings, and your frequencies high, fast, and pure so that you can unlock the universe within.
Thanks, everyone.
Right,
We did.
What? That was.
That was 10. That was Tim.
That.